Hey guys, and welcome to one of the most intense quick battle games I've ever had. And this isn't even like a tournament, this is just a battle up against Mini Ski here, as the Wood Elves do battle up against the Greenskins. And I can tell you, for the majority of this battle, my nerves were on edge. It was such a good scrap, and I'm very excited to bring it to you guys today. And as you may have noticed, I've been playing a bucket ton of Wood Elves recently. I've had some of my videos put up on Air of Carthage's channel bringing them, and I've placed up quite a lot of Wood Elf battles myself. And they've been a really fun faction to experiment with and bring a load of good stuff and try to figure out the new meta. So for our battle line, we have a load of Eternal Guard dotted along. Some are basic, some have shields. Now, the reason I actually have brought the shields today, and the fact they're on the flanks rather than the middle, though that may weaken my core slightly, I don't have too much, as you can guess, to counter skirmish cavalry. I don't have any range, I don't have any glade riders, so we're really going to be looking to apply pressure with the Eternal Guards of shields and just waste the time and resources of that skirmish cavalry. In the centre, we do have a unit of Sisters of Thorn here. Fantastic at bringing their bound spells. So we have 3 bound spells on them total. You get 2 Shield of Thorns and 1 Curse. We also come in with double ZOATS. And ZOATS are a unit which I have very rarely seen, at least since release, in the competitive scene and a lot in multiplayer in general. But I actually think ZOATS are quite a crucial unit now to Wood Elves in general to try to counter the current Chariot meta, coming in with those Orc Boar Boys and all that good stuff. And they're pretty solid all round. They do suffer a little bit from Croxigore syndrome, which is having pretty pathetic melee attack, meaning they can't actually hit anything despite their fantastic weapon strength. But they've got a pretty good melee defense. They come in with 2 Earthbloods, oh no, 1 Earthblood I believe, and double Flesh to Stone. Oh no, 2 of each. Oh my god, we get 2 Earthbloods, 2 Flesh to Stone. So that's 4 bound spells on this unit, 4 on this one, 3 here. We also have a Branch Wraith come with more Earthblood and a Pendulum and Scroll of Shielding. And then we have some more heavy hitters. Leading our army, we have the Sisters of Twilight coming in with their knockoff Arrows of Kurnos, and that's about it. They're going to be on their Eagle here today, give them a bit of a mobility advantage. I did want to go double Dragon, but I thought it's slightly too risky and I need to invest a little bit more in the ground force. And on the left-hand side, we do have a Majestic Forest Dragon. Arguably one of the weaker dragons in the competitive scene and all that kind of good stuff in multiplayer in general, but at least personally, the coolest looking dragon. The fact it's antlers on its head and all the spikes coming off with the dead yellow eye, the moss as well growing down off these beautiful little antlers on the head, it just looks so freaking badass. And the forest dragon does have a special place in my heart. It's got a very cool tail as well. Now, what are we facing today? Well, we are facing the blueprint for a competitive Greenskin build. We have an insane amount of skirmish cavalry in the form of Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers dotted all the way along. I still get PTSD from facing these guys. Although we have a bit of a newer inclusion, which is the Orc Boar Chariots. Incredibly powerful at the moment, and these boys have been chevroned up quite a bit as well. 2 chevrons on both of them. A load of Gobbos in the front line mixed in with Savage Orcs dotted all the way along. No Savage Orc Big Uns though, which is good news for me. We do have a Giant Ritual Hag with Spirit Leech as well as the Purple Sun in the middle. In the back we have Grom the Paunch on his chariot, looking as disgusting and ugly as always, although he's quite happy with that statement. He's cheering it along. He has brought the Language of the Boys and a Great in his ear, but he has not brought his Lucky Banner, which is certainly very lucky for me at least, because I think it's very powerful. We have double Orc Boar Boys on the left-hand side, and do we have any on the right? Nope, just the 2 cavalry there. So quite a long introduction there, but I really wanted to showcase this Wood Elf build and the reason I think it can counter Greenskins, and that is, of course, the ZOATS going after those chariots. We are pretty thin on the ground, however, but we do have the Sisters of Twilight fighting from the skies, and they can try to shoot back the Orc Boar chariots, who, in the majority of matchups at the moment, can just do this. They can just roam forward, run over Eternal Guard, and escape once more, but we're going to counter-punch them with the ZOATS, and you can see the amount of damage we do. Chariots do not have good melee defense, which means the ZOATS can actually hit them, and this unit, in a matter of seconds, is already turning tails and fleeing for its life, and we can follow up that punch with the Sisters, though they still have their models, and that is a big problem with chariots. Like, you can do a load of damage to them, but if you don't kill models, it's not going to equate to much. Orc Boar Chariot here in the centre is once again pinned in by ZOATS and Eternal Guard. I'm trying to pull back the Sisters of Thorn, but we do it a tad too late. We do get a Shield of Thorns down, but we're getting eviscerated by that Purple Sun. However, we have our first Earthblood coming in to try to heal up those troops. On the far side, you can see we've repositioned our Forest Dragon, so we can do a lovely breath attack, catching 3 units in one go. Although, to be honest, the Forest Dragon kind of felt a little vengeful towards the Elves there, doing massive damage to the Eternal Guard. But we're going to follow up with the Forest Dragon coming in, trying to break and rout this part of the Greenskin force. Our right-hand side has been forgotten about a little bit. Eternal Guard are just sacrificing themselves to hold back wave after wave of enemy. They were being used to push back Forest Goblin Spider Riders. Eternal Guard are going to be looking to pin in the Orc War Boys here. With a big fat pendulum come down the line, doing some pretty big friendly fire. Not going to lie, I've been doing a lot of friendly fire this game to myself. But likewise, we hit a lot of the Savage Orcs. We drop the curse down, and the Zoats are continuing to scrap in the middle portion of the battle. Popping those Earthbloods, popping those Flesh to Stones, keeping themselves active and alive, as the rest of my build does kind of crumble around them. This is a lot of Savage Orcs. Luckily, we've nuked their stats, but as that wears off, they counterpunch with a War, and a Great Urn is here, and we're starting to get rinsed in this central fight. We need the Dragon here, and we need the Sisters to start picking off enemy key targets. We're going after Grom, but he is very tanky. Forest Goblin Spider Riders are now coping shots in after the Zoats. We have some that have been pulled back. Good play by my opponent, actually, keeping these guys active and shooting. And it's starting to look a little bit bleak for our own troops, which is a bit of a downside here. But we are going to come in with a big, fat, juicy breath attack down on the Savage Orcs, doing some massive damage, and following up with that Terror. I believe the Zoats do indeed cause fear, so that's going to lower the enemy leadership even more. And we're doing some really nice damage now, trying to assassinate Grom. The Sisters continue to fly high above the skies. At the moment, do need to get down here and help support to try to take down Grom. And it looks like that's just what they're going to do, swooping down 2-for-1 combo on Grom the Paunch. But he is going to be a very tanky Gobbo still, and desperately trying to fall back. This is not what I wanted to see. A load of streams of Goblins and Savage Orcs returning from successfully destroying my left-hand flank. Though we do actually have some Eternal Guard rallying. Again, going to be trying to harass the Forest Goblin Spider Riders and get them to waste ammunition on them. But everywhere else, the Spiders are doing a really good job focusing down Zoats, who have managed to surround the giant Roshal Hag, looking to break her from the battlefield once more. And Grom's getting a little bit danger low himself. We do pop one of our plentiful Earthbloods, keeping our healing nice and topped up right now, as the Zoats are starting to struggle a little bit. The Forest Dragon up in the sky is still pretty healthy, and likewise the Sisters of Twilight. You shouldn't ever really be getting them too low when they're on the Eagle, because they can bounce in and out of combat really effectively. We do drop a Shield of Thorns down on the Eternal Guard to help keep them fighting, as well as all our big juicy Zoats, who have managed to, what I thought was kill the giant River Troll Hag, but she's actually just laying down for a big nap. Going to be looking to fall back here rather successfully. And Grom the Paunch is on the prowl, getting out of danger, looking to regenerate up. And there is so many Spider Rider archers now pouring on pressure onto our poor Zoats and Sisters of Thorn there. Grom does get hit there by the knockoff arrows of Kernels from the Sisters, and they're going to continue their pursuit, trying to hunt down the boy. The Great Urn is here, is going to be buffering him up quite nicely. The Zoats looking to try to pin him in, bringing those mighty clubs to action. But Grom is going to scoot his boot to safety and fall back once more. It looks like we do have a Flesh to Stone going down on the weakened Zoats to try to keep them in action, but a Spirit Leech is going to be punishing them quite badly. Balance power is in our favour, but if we have an overarching view of the battlefield, that's basically due to the fact that Grom is low on HP and the Sisters of Twilight aren't. Looks like they are on spread shot at the moment, but we will be turning that back to the single shot and trying to hunt down the Paunchmeister himself. Giant River Troll Hag, once again, is taking a bit of a nap, just still tired, and we are getting another Earthblood down on the Zoats to try to keep them active and fighting. Giant River Troll Hag has been forced off once more, and the Forest Dragon is on the prowl, but I decided to pull him back to try to help deal with the big problem we have with the enemy infantry. Branch Wraith is unfortunately surrounded on this flank. Grom the Paunch doing a good job cycle charging her to death while surrounded by Savage Orcs and Goblins. She's put up a good fight though, up to 49 kills, done some good heals as well as some nice pendulums, but is looking a little bit worse for wear as the battle does kind of continue. Eternal Guard once again going to be dueling Goblins, just trying to scrap for as long as we can, and the Zoats are falling back at the moment, trying to get over here to goon out Grom the Paunch if possible. Likewise, the Forest Dragon is on approach, but he is such a crafty little devil. He is slippery for a tubby Gobbo, and he's going to be falling back behind his Orc Boar Chariots, who have done basically nothing all game, which is really good news for me, and the horde of Savage Orcs and Gobbos. And the Sisters of Twilight continue to apply pressure from range onto Grom. They're actually starting to do some pretty decent damage, but he still has 1,000 HP, which is really scary. We do come in with a fat breath attack going down once again on the Savage Orcs. Unfortunately, this one not connecting too well. Our breath attack's been relatively well lined up, but not doing it the most damage yet. However, the Forest Dragon is up to 165 kills still, and these goblins are terrified, and I do not blame them. Look at this majestic beastie down here, whipping its head back and forth, and its tail, doing some awesome damage. And yeah, the Greenskin trying to surround it with the Forest Goblin spiders, which is a decent idea. They will poison it down, slow it down, and it is actually stopping me from getting it into the air. You can see I'm trying to drag it wide, as I really don't want to be taking all this damage from the Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers. More shots are coming down after Grom once more, down to 950 HP, but we're basically not making a dent in him at the moment. He's healing up basically as fast as we can damage him, and the majority of my army is starting to break and run for its life. Everyone just fleeing. Forest Dragon, my god, the insult there is getting back up into the skies at the moment as we continue to apply pressure to Grom, taking quite a pound now as he does decide to flee for his life, running, and we're going to be hunting him. The Sisters of Twilight are not giving up the chase yet. We're going to put them into attack mode, as well as the Forest Dragon here, and we're just going to charge after Grom. He is our main priority. He's down to 330 health now, as those shots do line up. As you can see, the remainder of our build's kind of running, though. ZOATS are fleeing, Branch Wraith's fleeing. We do have a Eternal Guard rallying to the cries of the Branch Wraith here, who's calling for assistance. But yeah, we're just going to continue to hunt down Grom the Paunch and drive him off the battlefield. And this is definitely the play we want to do. I've actually taken off range mode right now. We've kind of conserved our ammunition for the later stages of the battle, and trying to chase off Grom, drive him away from the battlefield. The dragon is simply going to be falling in this direction as well, looking to hunt down these gobos or to hunt down Grom the Paunch. We do have a load of troops rallying as well. ZOATS trying to go after those Orc Boar chariots. We're going to be attacking around this little, not mountain, I suppose, little edge here of this little rocky terrain, and the ZOATS going after the Orc Boar chariots, who have been forgotten by my opponent. We should be able to swamp them and drag them down. Branch Wraith is going to retreat back to the trees, hopefully saving up some winds of magic, because the amount of enemies there are right now compared to us. We are 26 versus 699. This is some real 300 stuff. And the Greenskins, unfortunately, have noticed the Branch Wraith and the ZOATS who are coming in to try and do a bit of a death strike down on these savage orcs. We have managed to escort Grom the Paunch off the battlefield, though, which is really good news. And now the Forest Dragon and the Sister of Twilight can make the long approach back into action. And I need to snipe out the Giant Remote Hag and probably these Orc Boar boys from the sky, because they're going to be a big problem for our dragon. We do get a relatively decent pendulum go down the line. I could have saved it till the enemy was a bit more blobbed up, but the Branch Wraith is probably not long for this world, and she's going to be getting gooned out by all of these troops. Eternal Guard trying to push forward out the forest, but getting caught up in there. ZOATS as well are going to be fleeing. Sister Twilight doing a decent job though, 36 kills. Do manage to actually shatter the Giant Ritual Hag. Very surprised I actually got the shatter there. And the balance power is massively in our favour, which is really surprising considering how outnumbered we are. And the Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers are starting to dwindle on ammunition. This is kind of the main bonus for me right now, as we continue to push forward with the dragon going after these Orc Boar boys here. So we're going to be following up with some range attacks. War is active, giving them that immune psychology, but it's not going to matter. They're going to break naturally anyway. Forest Dragon continuing to desperately try to fight down to 1,600 HP, and that leadership starting to waver, and there's so many hordes of Greenskins coming up to fight our dragon. Luckily, the Branch Wraith has rallied. My opponent decided to give up on the chase, looking instead to go after the Forest Dragon, but at this point, I was starting to run really desperately low on Winds of Magic. So I don't think we even have enough left for an Earth Blood, and the dragon is getting very danger low right now. Sister of Twilight are going to continue to rain shots in from the sky, trying to dish it out to the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, who are actually currently suffering from some pretty bad tear outs. There's no leadership left on the forces of the Greenskins, but look how low the Forest Dragon's getting. I don't know if we stand much chance here. I should probably be charging in with the Sisters and allowing them to fight in combat as well, rather than letting the Forest Dragon tank this. But I was trying to wait to the last possible opportunity before the Forest Dragon did break and come charge in and boost up that Forest Dragon morale. And here we go, but it is a little bit too late, unfortunately. Forest Dragon has been broken and is going to be fleeing for its life. Sisters of Twilight are now dueling in hand-to-hand combat, nor where they want to be. Branch Wraith, though, is starting to chug along, come in to aid and support where possible. Forest Dragon does fly into the skies. We'll be able to rally, though, I think. Leadership is quite high. I don't think we have any breath attacks left. Imagine if we had a breath attack now or a pendulum. It would be huge, but despite this, balance power is dead even because a lot of the Greenskin forces are suffering hugely from leadership problems. And the Branch Wraith is a relatively decent melee combatant, so bringing her back in is quite helpful. And the dragon swoops from the skies. It is death amongst the clouds coming down, and a big tear out does go down on all of these goblins, and the Spider Rider archers and the Savage Orcs are starting to suffer as well. You can see they've been terrified because they're only immune to psychology, I believe, because of that frenzy. And my opponent's build does break. An insane battle. This was a real kind of nerve breaker. Well played to Miniski. I think he performed really well, coming in with what is a very kind of standard, typical tournament greenskin build, and he played it really well. Those Spider Rider archers, man, I don't know if they were shivering up at the start of the battle, but they got some pretty good work done throughout. But we managed to seal the victory with a rather unique build. I really don't see ZOATS that often, and bringing a Forest Dragon isn't terrible up against Greenskins. Of course, the bow fight is a big problem, but if you have the double ZOATS and the Branch Wraith, that is an insane amount of Earthbloods you can pop to keep these guys in the action, and they certainly paid for themselves, at least I'd like to think so. But we'll find out if they did or didn't in just a second and go through all the damage dealt and damage value of the units. But once again, well played to Miniski, and if you guys enjoyed this video, it's a big fun one to cast, make sure to leave a fat thumbs up under the video, subscribe as well for more Total War content into the future. We're going to be dropping stuff every single day, live streams, all that good juicy stuff. Also, comment down below, what did you think of the battle? What do you think of ZOATS? Do you think they're actually possible to use in this matchup? I think they performed really well. We did kind of let them get bogged down quite a bit in the middle stages of the battle, but we weren't up against Savage Orc big guns, just the basic Savage Orcs, and that allowed my opponent to go a bit wider. But the ZOATS did really well. I think they were quite solid, so let me know what you thought down below. There's also links in the description to my Patreon if you'd like to support my channel in any way, as well as to my Discord where you can submit replays, get involved in tournaments and events that I host, and chill out with a load of cool people. But anyway, on to the real reason we're here, the damage dealt to the damage value. The Sisters of Twilight, 62 kills, not shabby whatsoever, 2,537 damage value. Really solid work from them. They were quite healthy at the end as well. And they're okay in combat on the Eagle. Of course, they're no dragon, but they could certainly help drag down some of that infantry in the later stages of the battle. Really good utility tool. I think firing at Grom was necessary, although very frustrating because it takes so long to kill him. But using them to follow up on the ZOATS pounce on the chariot is quite nice. And they did a good job all round, I think, rallying the troops in the later stages of the battle. Branch Wraith got a solid 790 damage of value, 64 kills. Good work by her. The pendulums weren't the best placed, to be honest, but the Earthbloods, of course, keeping my troops fighting is very nice. Tunnel Guard across the board didn't do too much. They were kind of born to die, I'm afraid, and they did that with a gusto. The Sisters of Thorn, only 461 damage value on them, but they did manage to pop all of their buffs and debuffs, which is really helpful and helped the ZOATS come into their own here. First unit ZOATS, 117 kills, over 14k damage dealt, 2,362 damage value. Beautiful work by them. Did absolutely great damage up against any of the big targets that came in. The Chariots, the Boar Boys, the Grom the Paunch, the Druid Hag, and they absorbed so much pressure as well because of those Flesh Stones and Earthbloods. The other unit not performing quite as well, but still very impressive with 1,498 damage value. 38 kills, still doing good work. The Forest Dragon was also a bit of a beast. It may have not got the most insane damage value considering the amount of kills, but it did a very important job tear outing away my opponent's build at the death, and likewise clearing out the chaff, which is something Wood Elves often can struggle with. Over 16k damage dealt, 224 kills, and 1,617 damage value. Did do some good damage to Grom as well when we came in for that assassination attempt with the Sisters in the early stages of the game. As for Miniski, Grom the Paunch was kind of pushed wide a lot. I was trying to keep him out of the fight as much as possible. He did still do a good job absorbing damage, but only 440 damage value, of course, isn't fantastic. Giant Ritual Hag, however, 1,626. Those Spirit Leeches coming in quite handy. Goblins across the board performed actually really well. 480 damage value on this unit, 560 on the other one. 492, all good stats for the Gobbos. The Savage Orcs across the board as well performed pretty good. I mean, 1,000 damage value, 590, 430, 400, 862. It's all good stuff, and they really did stomp our ground force. But to be honest, the ground force is there just to hold out whilst the rest of the build dishes out the damage. The Orc Boar Boys did struggle a little bit. trying to get in there and deal with the ZOATS, but the ZOATS were quite an easy match for them. Only 488 and 395 damage value, and the chariots, which is one of the quickest ways to kill the ground force of the Wood Elves, is with these chariots. But as you can see, one kill on both of them. 191 damage value, 18 damage value. The ZOATS just getting in there and smashing them in the early game meant they became a lot more fragile into the later stages, and the Sisters of Twilight could kind of follow up and pick them to pieces from range. The cavalry was used pretty well. I managed to distract them a decent amount of time on the right-hand side and get a lot of wasted ammunition, but Miniski did pull back with 1 or 2 units at different points to focus down the ZOATS and the Dragon. So 438 damage value, 641, 782, and 746 is certainly some good value there from those Spider Riders. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.